Billie Eilish admits Jungkook is one of her inspirations. He has an energy no American artist has. What happens when two worlds that should never intersect finally collide? When the haunting, soul-soaked artistry of Billie Eilish meets the untouchable global phenomenon that is Jungkook of BTS. The answer arrived not through a song, not through a performance, but through a single sentence, one that has left the music industry reeling, fans gasping, and journalists scrambling for context. It all began during a quiet, dimly lit conversation with Variety. Billie Eilish, known for her raw honesty and her refusal to play into the manufactured polish of pop fame, leaned forward in her chair, eyes half-lit, voice steady. "You know," she said, "I think Jungkook has something no American artist really has. There's this energy, like he's real, but untouchable. I find that inspiring." And with that, the internet shattered. Within minutes, the quote spread across fan accounts, music forums, and industry chatter circles like wildfire. Did Billie just say Jungkook inspires her? Wait, Billie Eilish, the two-time Oscar winner, just admitted she looks up to a BTS member? The disbelief was universal, but the fascination was unstoppable. Why Jungkook? Why now? And what exactly did Billie mean by energy no American artist has? To understand the weight of her words, one has to understand what Billie Eilish represents. She is not easily impressed. In a world of fleeting viral fame, she has built an empire on minimalism, emotion, and authenticity. Her world is painted in shades of melancholy and rebellion, where silence says more than noise, and every whisper carries the weight of a confession. For her to openly credit another artist, especially one outside the Western pop establishment, isn't just praise, it's an earthquake. The parallels between Billie and Jungkook are both haunting and electric. Both were teenage prodigies who rewrote the rules of fame. Both carry a mysterious aura that refuses to be neatly categorized. And both, despite living oceans apart, seem to share a strange emotional wavelength, a kind of silent understanding that fame isn't always the dream it appears to be. In the interview, Billie described watching Jungkook's solo performances. "There's this thing he does," she explained, almost like she was describing a ghost she couldn't quite name. "It's in his eyes. He's performing for millions, but it feels like he's singing to one person. That's rare. It's honest. That's what I connect with." Those who have followed Jungkook's journey know exactly what she means. From his viral Calvin Klein campaign that broke the internet to his solo hit 7, Jungkook has been redefining what it means to be a global artist. He's sleek but human, confident yet humble. And for someone like Billie, who has spent her entire career rejecting the artificiality of Hollywood perfection, that kind of authenticity must feel like looking into a mirror. But there's something deeper here, something even Billie herself may not have realized when she said it. The acknowledgement carries cultural gravity. For years, American pop has been seen as the world's creative axis. But in 2025, that axis has shifted, and artists like Jungkook are the new north. Billie's words weren't just admiration, they were an admission that global music no longer flows from one place. It's everywhere. It's Korean. It's universal. Fans on both sides were quick to respond. "Billie sees what we've been saying for years," wrote one BTS fan on X, formerly Twitter. Jungkook's artistry transcends language. He's not just a singer, he's a feeling. Others speculated that Billie's admiration might lead to something more tangible, a collaboration. "Can you imagine their voices together?" One fan posted. "Billie's smoky tone and Jungkook's velvet vocal? It would end us all." Music critics, too, couldn't resist weighing in. Rolling Stone noted that Billie's acknowledgement signifies a new chapter in Western acknowledgement of Eastern artistry. NPR described it as a cultural bridge that feels inevitable, yet still revolutionary. But perhaps the most interesting reactions came from within the American music scene itself, where young artists have reportedly begun citing K-pop idols as legitimate creative influences. Billie may have just given them permission to say it out loud. Still, some questioned whether Billie's statement was spontaneous or strategic. After all, both she and Jungkook are part of a generation that understands the currency of virality. Was this a genuine confession of admiration, or was Billie subtly teasing a future project? When asked if she would ever collaborate with Jungkook, she only smiled, a small, knowing smile that said everything and nothing all at once. "Who knows?" she said. "The world's small." And yet, in that brief moment, her words didn't feel calculated. They felt real. And perhaps that's what makes this story so magnetic. Because behind the headlines and hashtags lies something more intimate. Two artists who see themselves reflected in one another. Consider their creative parallels. Both Billie and Jungkook began young. Both have fought the crushing expectations of fame, and both express themselves through a kind of emotional vulnerability that feels raw enough to hurt. Jungkook once said during a BTS documentary, "I don't just want to sing perfectly, I want to sing truthfully." That sentiment could have come straight out of Billie's diary. Even the way they move through the world feels eerily similar. Billie walks red carpets barefoot. Jungkook wears designer suits like their hoodies. They both exist in a kind of quiet rebellion, rejecting the performance of fame while embodying it perfectly. They don't chase trends, they create them. When the Variety interviewer asked Billie if she saw herself in Jungkook, she paused for a long moment before answering. "Maybe," she said softly. "He's not trying to be anyone else." And that's really hard, especially when everyone wants to turn you into something you're not. Those words hit differently for anyone who has followed Jungkook's evolution. He has spent the last few years peeling away the layers of the golden magne image, showing fans a more mature, reflective side through his solo work. His debut album Golden wasn't just a showcase of talent, it was a declaration of identity. He wasn't BTS's youngest anymore, he was an artist in his own right. For Billie to recognize that struggle, to see through the glittering surface into the human beneath, isn't just a compliment. It's an artistic communion. Be why the following morning, entertainment outlets across the globe had picked up the story. Billie Eilish names BTS's Jungkook as inspiration. Billie admits Jungkook has something no one else has. Is a Billie x Jungkook collaboration coming? The headlines were endless. TikTok was flooded with fan edits merging clips of Billie's ocean eyes and Jungkook's standing next to you. YouTube reaction videos dissected every second of her quote. Even Billboard tweeted a teaser. Billie Eilish praises BTS's Jungkook in new interview. What does it mean for the future of pop? What it means, perhaps, is that the world is finally witnessing a generational handoff. The borders between East and West, mainstream and niche, are dissolving. And it's not just through business deals or streaming charts, it's through mutual artistic respect. Imagine for a moment, a dark stage, minimal lighting, a breath of silence. Billie's whisper blending into Jungkook's falsetto. The tension, the melancholy, the ache. It sounds inevitable, doesn't it? But even if a collaboration never happens, Billie's words will echo far beyond this week's headlines. Because they confirm what fans have always known. Jungkook isn't just an idol. He's an inspiration to the very artists who once defined inspiration itself. The real question now is, does Jungkook know? Has he seen the clip? And if he has, what would he say? Those who know him might predict humility, a soft laugh, a quiet thank you, maybe even disbelief. But deep down, perhaps there would also be pride. Not the loud, self-congratulatory kind, but the quiet, earned pride of an artist who realizes his impact has traveled farther than he ever dreamed. And Billie? She has always been one step ahead of the industry. She recognizes energy when she feels it. She recognizes truth when she sees it. Maybe she's not just inspired by Jungkook's artistry. Maybe she's inspired by what he represents. A reminder that music doesn't need translation, and that emotion speaks louder than language. As the world continues to buzz, one question keeps repeating across social media, whispered between fans like a secret they're afraid to say too loudly. Is this how it starts? Because sometimes, inspiration is the first step toward collaboration. And sometimes, a single sentence can change the sound of pop forever. Because sometimes, inspiration is the first step toward collaboration. And sometimes, a single sentence can change the sound of pop forever. But what exactly did Billie Eilish see in Jungkook that so many American artists might have missed? To understand that, we have to go deeper, not just into their artistry, but into the way they feel music. Jungkook doesn't just perform, he embodies every lyric, every pulse, every beat. There's something instinctual about him, something that can't be replicated by formula or training. You can't choreograph soul. And Billie, perhaps more than anyone, recognizes that truth because she has built her entire career around the same principle. The irony is striking. For years, Western critics tried to box K-pop into a stereotype: flashy, polished, overproduced. But now, one of the most authentic voices of American pop has said what many industry insiders were too afraid to admit: that behind the flawless choreography and stage perfection lies something visceral, something human. Jungkook's ability to connect, to turn silence into intensity, to make the air tremble with just one glance. This is not training. This is presence. When Billie called Jungkook honest but mysterious, it wasn't just a passing remark. It was almost poetic. Because that's the paradox of Jungkook's existence. He is open yet unreadable, gentle yet powerful, innocent yet magnetic. It's the kind of duality that draws you in, the way a candle draws both moths and wonder. Social media, of course, erupted into analysis. Fans began posting side-by-side videos of Billie's most intimate performances. When the party's over, Everything I Wanted, next to Jungkook's stripped-down renditions of songs like Still With You. The similarities were chilling. The quiet intensity, the precision, the ache in every breath. It was as if their artistry came from the same emotional galaxy. They understand loneliness the same way, one fan commented, and the post went viral overnight, and loneliness might be the secret thread connecting them. Billie once told Rolling Stone that she writes from the place that hurts. Jungkook, too, has been candid about feeling isolated despite fame. In interviews, he often confesses that he channels his emotions into his art because he doesn't know where else to put them. Two artists, oceans apart, yet walking the same emotional tightrope, balancing vulnerability and control, connection and distance. Perhaps that's why her statement hits so hard. Because it wasn't about commercial admiration, it was about empathy. She saw herself in him, and in doing so, she reminded the world that inspiration doesn't follow borders or charts. It follows truth. Still, the industry couldn't help speculating. If Billie's admiration for Jungkook were to evolve into a collaboration, what would it sound like? Producers began whispering theories. Would it be dark and cinematic, like No Time to Die? Or minimal and ethereal, like Jungkook's 7 or My You? Music analysts began writing think pieces predicting a potential cross-genre masterpiece that could redefine Western Korean collaboration forever. But the emotional dimension went deeper. For fans, it wasn't just about music, it was about validation. For decades, Asian artists have been treated as outsiders in Western entertainment. Now, one of the most influential Western artists had turned the narrative around. Billie wasn't just giving Jungkook credit. She was recognizing him as a creative equal. In Seoul, entertainment news anchors replayed the clip on loop. Jungkook's name trended for 48 hours straight across multiple platforms, with hashtags like #BillieLovesJungkook and #InspirationUnites topping charts. In Los Angeles, paparazzi began shouting Jungkook's name outside Billie's recording studio. "Are you working with Jungkook? Billie, can we expect a duet?" She smiled again, gave no answer, and disappeared into a black car. That silence. Oh, that deliberate silence. Only deepened the intrigue. Meanwhile, musicians across the globe began weighing in. Halsey, who had previously collaborated with BTS, reposted Billie's quote with a single emoji: fire. Doja Cat commented under a fan account, "Not surprised, Jungkook's stage energy is unreal." Even Shawn Mendes liked to post linking the two artists. The world was watching, but more importantly, the industry was listening, because what Billie had done, perhaps unintentionally, was open a door. For years, Western pop stars have drawn influence from K-pop in secret, taking cues from its visual innovation, performance precision, and fan engagement. But few had the courage to say it out loud. Billie did. And by doing so, she made it acceptable, even admirable, to find inspiration beyond the West. A week after the interview, Variety published an extended transcript where Billie elaborated slightly on her comment. "It's not even about genre," she explained. "It's about spirit." Jungkook performs like every second matters. That's rare. I feel like I've learned something from watching that. Every second matters. Those 3 words became a kind of mantra online. Fans turned it into art, tattoos, song edits. Because in a way, it summed up everything that defines both artists. The awareness that nothing, no lyric, no breath, no heartbeat, should be wasted. As this story continued to unfold, old videos resurfaced from years ago, showing Jungkook covering Billie Eilish's Bad Guy during a live stream in 2019. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. He was inspired by her first, one fan commented. Now she's inspired by him. That's a full circle moment. Indeed, it felt like fate, an invisible thread tying their journeys together long before either of them realized it. Behind the scenes, however, sources whispered that Billie's team had already reached out to discuss potential creative overlap. Nothing official, nothing scheduled, but conversations had begun. And while representatives refused to confirm, those close to both artists hinted that the chemistry was undeniable. Billie's fascinated by people who live truthfully, said one insider. And Jungkook has that. He's not performing confidence, he is confidence. Quiet, internal confidence. That's rare. That's the kind she respects.